Today's incarceration day for Aaron Imholte. And because this fucking idiot was dumb enough to talk himself into jail. He had negotiated away jail and then fucked that up somehow. I don't know how someone is so catastrophically bad at things, but that's what he did. So he reported to jail today. He will serve apparently 9 days. His anticipated release date is the 26th. And again, if you missed it, I'm wearing my orange tie in solidarity with his orange jumpsuit. And that's just what it is. That's what's happening today. If you don't know why he's going to jail and why this matters, is deeply personal to me. But what Aaron did was one fateful day, sometime between December 16th and April 8th. I don't remember the exact date. I could find it, but it's not really relevant. Aaron decided to, without anyone's knowledge or consent, take a picture of Lady Rackets that was revealing. And then what he further did was he sent that picture to Gino Bisconti on a live stream. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but doing that is a crime in every state. Shockingly, they don't want you to send pictures of a private nature to anyone without their consent. Now, part of the other, another part of that is that not only did he do that, but he allowed the notion that it was a picture that was given to him, which is not true. He eventually admitted after his plea that he was the one who took the picture. And he actually did that on a live stream as well. You can go, there's a clip of it, but you can watch him take the picture. No one, not April, not Lady Rackets, and not I, none of us knew this happened at all. Now, the interesting thing, and of course, he says it was consensual, which is kind of weird if you don't know someone's taking a picture of you to somehow consent to it. I know for some people this will be kind of confusing, like, well, how did this happen? Like, how could you get into this situation? I'll tell you the more specific story. But generally, if you listen to me talk through a lot of stories, when we were on drugs all the time, right? Nudity was just very, very common. From what I can tell, that's kind of a side effect of cocaine. From what I gather, that you just become more like kind of in tune with that. And what Theo Von talks about it, when Theo Von describes doing cocaine, it's really funny and really accurate. He's like, I just want to do a bunch of cocaine and like go home and hold my wiener. And it's like, that's how it is. It's really fucking weird. Like you're not like super horny, or well, you can be, but you're not like super horny all the time or whatever. But you just have this weird, like, there's like a need to be constantly stimulated in some way. You just have to constantly be stimulated. I know it seems weird, and it would be weird. It'd be really weird now. But at the time, primarily the three of us were frequently, three of us being April, Lady R, and me, very frequently just hanging around naked. I don't know. Get over it. It happened. I don't know what to say. We're just going with the truth here. And so, so the idea that there would be an opportunity to take a picture like that becomes less and less weird really quickly when you realize just how many stories involve just the three of us or whatever. There are very few stories where Aaron is nude. He was very insecure and scared of being naked. So thank Christ, I guess. But that being said, I'll say more of the story. So this is kind of it's a here's the story of how that picture came to be. It took me forever to figure out what day it was, but I remembered because the day got really weird, and I won't get into why it got really weird. Basically, Lady Rackets and I ended up getting in a fight, and interestingly, that picture wasn't the subject of the fight because we didn't know that it happened. But let's just say there were some similar themes going on that came into the fight. Now I'll detail it a little bit more. But long story short, like I said, nudity was common. Aaron was doing his show. There was there was some nudity happening off to the side of the. He broadcasts in his basement, so it's a pretty big, like just an open great room, and so off to the side from the broadcast area, there are couches and stuff like that. So people were hanging out. Clothing might not have been on because, for better or worse, it's really funny when someone's trying to live stream to have a bunch of naked people around, distracting the shit out of them. That's a funny thing. And that's what was going on. And he decided to then take a creep shot in the middle of it, which is really fucking weird. That is a huge breach of trust and very violative. And that's what he did. Shortly after that, April and I would go to the we'll say resupply, so to speak, because their supplies were low. And the good thing was the resupply was much closer to their house than it would have been to my house. So it made it not a very big trip. But I think we left still, his show was still going when we left. And we got back right around the time his show ended. If I remember right. God damn it. This is a weird story to tell. And I shouldn't say too much. But let's just say some things happened and somehow we're like discovered that I got in trouble. Like I got the side eye, right? I got the side eye. And I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do anything wrong. But on the trip to resupply, I apparently did something very wrong, and it ended up with a big fight, which, of course, ironically, or maybe not ironically, coincidentally, that's how I was able to figure out what day that this actually took place, is because I remembered this thing happening, and kind of, or not like this thing, the opportunity for this thing to have happened, but I remembered the fight that happened about what I did, about what I was engaged in. And it was a big fight, actually. Lady Raggets and I had to pull over my car because we were screaming at each other. Drugs kind of do this too. That's the other thing. Whatever else they do, they increase excitability and explosiveness. So we were really kind of getting into it. I had to pull over the car, and we were headed back down to our house. And April and Aaron were behind us, and they passed us. They got to our house first. They called like, "Are you guys okay?" It was like, "Yeah, we're fine. Fuck up." Anyway, it was a really weird night, but the way the picture came about was, the show was going. Like I said, he was doing his show, and it's funny to distract him. Did this several times. He would actually refer, he and April would refer to Lady Rackets and I as Gordy, their dog. And they'd say, "Gordy's doing something stupid over there," or whatever. Like, that happened a ton. That meant that we were over there bothering them, being annoying. I don't know. It was a weird time, and you make weird decisions, but yeah, now because he did that, though, he took the picture during his show, and you can see very clearly during the show. There was no discussion about like, hey, can I take a picture of you? There was never any question about consent, and none of us knew that he did that. It was finding out that he did that was actually really, really fucking awful. And Aaron has said that I am the one who like wanted to bring charges against him or whatever. No. At the time, I didn't want anything like that to happen. I didn't want to bring any charges. I didn't want to do anything because he was a witness in the case against me, and I didn't want anything to look like witness tampering. I didn't want anything even close. I wanted a clean shot at my fight. I didn't want anything distracting. But, you know, when someone actually victimizes someone you care about, I told her about it, and I saw the look on her face. And then I asked her what she wanted to do, and she said, we have to report this. So we did. So we reported it. Wasn't what we wanted. Like, ideally, everything would have gone on without a hitch. Believe me, I would much prefer the crime to have not occurred. I wish Aaron was not in jail because he didn't commit a crime against someone I care about. Like, that would be the ideal. But, you know, you get stuck with the hand you're dealt with. So Black Link says, no wonder you were so pissed about this. Oh, I mean, in a just world, things would have gone way different, right? But you're stuck. You're stuck letting justice take its course through the court system, which isn't satisfying. It isn't satisfying at all. Lolita Spile says, these stories make me cringe because it takes me back to my wild days. So glad I got over all that. It's a two-sided coin. Like, a lot of it's really fun, and then the rest of it's not. And then you look back. Like, I look back and I'm like, what the fuck? What were we doing? What were we doing at all? It's wild. Like, not in our normal repertoire. But we're in a bunch of mind-altering substances. So at the time, so you make decisions that maybe you wouldn't normally make. But that being said, he'll have his 9 days in jail, and then he has 2 years of probation, and he has 349 days of jail suspended. If he violates his probation, he could serve any amount of that 349 days in jail as a condition of his, for his violation. The other thing that will happen is Lady Rackets will be taking out a restraining order against him. Let's make this channel like a legal channel for just a minute. And we go Minnesota statute HRO, which is 609.748. This is why we had to, well, we didn't have to. This is why, because we could have gone for a restraining order against him earlier. But this is what we've got here. So, definition: for the purposes of this section, the following terms have the meanings given to them in this subdivision. This is really important as this first part. Harassment includes a single incident of physical or sexual assault, a single incident of harassment under 609.749, subdivision 2, paragraph C, clause 8, a single incident of non-consensual dissemination of private sexual images under section 617.261. So, this is the relevant section. This is what he did. And therefore, we have harassment. We automatically have harassment. So now, when a person who is a victim of harassment or the victim's guardian or conservator may seek a restraining order from the district court in the manner provided in this section. That's it. It's really straightforward and really simple. Now that he has been convicted and sentenced for that crime, the issuing of a restraining order is automatic. It will be granted. The scope of the restraining order, all that stuff will be up to the judge, but a restraining order will be granted. A restraining order will likely include a prohibition of him talking about or referencing Lady Rackets in any way, and it will go for at least 2 years. Let's see where what the duration is. So restraining order may be issued only against the respondent named in the petition, except that if the respondent is an organization, the order may be issued against and apply to all the members of the organization, which, by the way, that will probably have a restraining order, including the Steel to a Morning Show itself, and therefore anyone who is in its employ. If the court finds the petitioner has had 2 or more previous restraining orders in effect against the same respondent, or the respondent has violated a prior or existing restraining order on 2 or more occasions, relief granted by the restraining order may be for a period of up to 50 years. In all other cases, relief granted by the restraining order must be for a fixed period of not more than 2 years. When a referee presides at the hearing on the petition, the restraining order becomes effective upon the referee's signature. So this is an interesting part of the case, in my opinion, because Aaron has a violation of a prior restraining order on one occasion, and that is against his first wife, Ashley. To my knowledge, Aaron doesn't have any other violations of a restraining order. However, he has 2 violations of his release conditions, and I don't know if that constitutes, because the release condition violation was specifically akin to violating a restraining order. I don't know if that counts, but he has 2 violations of his release conditions. And if the court allows it, they may grant a restraining order for longer than 2 years. That being said, that's a long, 50 years is a long fucking time. But some people just need to be like, you can't do it. You can't keep bothering your victim, and you can't wait it out. So that being said, if the court orders relief for a period of up to 50 years under paragraph A, the respondent named in the restraining order may request to have the restraining order vacated or modified if the order has been in effect for at least 5 years and the respondent has not violated the order. So if Lady Raggets were able to get a 50-year restraining order, he would have, at the end of 5 years, the opportunity to have that vacated or modified. This is a really long time to go through things, but either way, I don't know. I don't know if the 50-year will be possible. I'm not sure. If it is, great. I think that's the best outcome. He's indicated that he just has to wait to say what he wants to say. And so to me, the preventing him from ever doing that would be the benefit there. He doesn't need to re-victimize someone. He doesn't need to do that. That being said, that is kind of it's a stretch of the law to say, do these qualify as restraining order violations? And I haven't researched it yet. I don't know. But in any case, he'll have at least a 2-year restraining order. And typically, if they're going to grant a 2-year restraining order, you can get that renewed pretty easy at least one time. So he's probably got 4 years of restraining order to go through before he'll be done with that. And that's just how it's going to go. He thought he would be done after all this, but he won't. He also has 2 years of his probation. If he fucks up within the 2 years of his probation, his currently suspended sentence will be imposed upon him, and he could go to jail for up to 349 more days. If he does not, if he doesn't violate the probation, then he'll have the restraining order, which runs parallel. So if he's not violating probation, he's probably not violating the restraining order. But then the restraining order will go an additional 2 years after that. So it'll be a mess. Can people see you have a restraining order on you in a background check? I don't know. I don't think so. The problem for Aaron, though, is that he's not people. He's not normal people. He's a public person, and his his harassment of women is well documented. And his restraining order that's out there will, likely have a news story. Googling his name does not produce the best results. Like you wouldn't want that. And even more importantly, like the The job that he wants to do is local radio in St. Cloud because he really is an idiot. Uh, but that being said, that's the job he wants to do. And all of them already know. Everybody in that market knows exactly who he is and what he's done. And any hiring decisions made are made with the full knowledge of his penchant for harassing women while working. That's the crazy thing. He did all this during his job duties. I mean, they were self-employment stuff, but he did it on his show, which means that if you hire him, you're at risk of him, doing this on your show. And, you may not want to be a radio station and have someone who will get your radio station sued for negligent supervision of their employees. Like that would be a big risk. So, for him, he's got a separate problem than, your average person can probably fly incognito and like you have a restraining order somewhere. No one will really know because unless the other person's public and you're public, like these are issues that are dealt with in private. But his is not. Grifty says, I got to take my victory lap. I called Aaron serving more time and having a worse record when the dust settled the day he was arrested. Get fucked, Kiwis. But again, I don't know how you could say that, Grifty. That's not true. Because I made all the wrong decisions and Aaron's lawyer was based and awesome and made all the right ones. But it's just because my family paid off 2 counties and Fox News, Art says, Rekieta Law, you've heard my voice. Should I try to be a St. Cloud DJ? I have not scrapped the idea of reaching out to all of the stations in St. Cloud saying, hey, would you guys like a morning radio legal segment just like once a week, just like some stupid little gig just to fucking needle him. But I don't know if I want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work for not, it wouldn't be worth it. They don't make any money at all. It's such a dying medium. It's such a dying industry. And I don't know why anyone would want to get into it.